All right, are you ready to make a mess? Well, I think that could be a very likely outcome of this project, but we're gonna try to plug on right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man. This is Dad's 175 Allis Chalmers, which we're fixing to split outside with almost nothing as far as correct procedures. I think I have everything loose since the last video, with the exception of the hood. We're going to take the hood off, and we are going to see if we can make this happen. I hope that we can. Going apart is not going to be the problem. The problem will be whether we can gracefully put it back together in a nice fashion. So, without further ado, let's start pulling some hood bolts out. And for that, we're going to need some tools. You know, tools. The things that, you know, we should probably have to have a license to use, because some people, like me, do stupid things with them. You know, a ratchet would be a real handy tool for this, but do I really want to go get one? Well, I can make that happen because I have a 1/4 inch ratchet right here. We've had these loose so many times that some of this stuff should just come loose pretty easy. See, I'm starting with the ones that are super easy to get to, thus holding off on the rooster sounds, because those ones right up there are going to be absolutely ridiculous. And there is multiple ones. Like, whoever did it, they still put all the ones back in, which a lot of places don't do that. So I guess look there. I gotta try to go, like, it's way in there too. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know really how I'm gonna do it, to be honest with you. And I go up and over. Oh man, I can't go. I can feel it. I can feel where it has to go. Oh, this is gonna be a thrill. I wonder if I get a super long, that's probably what I'll do. I think if I get this super long extension, I can get out here to where I can actually get to it. Of course, I failed on the first one, but that's okay. Okay. Now I'm going to hold the top side. Maybe. Oh, this sucks. What were they thinking? Okay, so if we put this back together, we're going to put the bolt out here on the edge where we can get to it. Why did they put the one in all the way back in there? Oh, so you're done, right? That was the most difficult one to get to. Not on your life, pal. There's two up here, and one of them is buried back in there. Why, you ask? Well, because whoever worked on this one last thought, let's put in all the factory bolts That's almost never necessary. I mean, so frustrating. Come on. Let loose. Come on. Well, it came out. That's more than I thought it would. It even had a lock in it. Now we'll try for that one, and then these two. This one, at least a guy can see what he's doing, maybe. Might still not have any success at it, but... Oh my goodness. And then it will immediately start to turn, of course. Such silliness. That one good. Oh, that won't want to come out of there, so that's cool. Will it turn out of there? Might have to loosen the other ones before I can get it to pop out. Something there. Push in on the side, sure. Okay. We're getting there, friends. There's just 1,000 volts standing in our way. Oh, that's new. I don't think I've worked on one that had that cross brace thing in there. So that actually goes up. We got to make sure we get the bolts through that when we... And that thing doesn't get bent out of the way or something. Oh, the ratchet switched to tight. Okay, how many is in this one? Wonder what was with that guy, that he thought he had to put the one in that's far away. If you're going to put one bolt in, put this one in. Okay, 2 bolts here. Oh, one in the center. Good thing I got that, because I would have been fighting that and not knowing what was going on. Okay, we got to remember while this is off, we're going to turn that battery around, because he put new battery cables on it, but they have to crisscross the way that it is, and I don't like that. I want the hot one to be on this side so it's straight to the starter. He'd just put them back like it was, because that was the way the battery, when we changed the battery, we put the battery in that way, not knowing any better. But now that everything's had to be, we've had to touch almost everything on this poor tractor in just short order, because there's just so many things that were right on the edge of appropriate, but not. We need to take that loose, because that's going to stay with the hood. So that would be 5/16. In theory, this will work. It should. Come on. It's not wanting to play nice, so there we go. Will that pull up off of there? I don't know. But I know one thing. We're gonna sure try. See if you'll come up. Oh yeah. Okay. Now we got to try to go all the way up over that muffler. I don't know if I can do that by myself, but I don't have anybody here to help, so I'm gonna just do it. Okay, it'll wait a minute now. I can reposition. Oh, that's a heavy hook. Oh, son of a gun. It's a little bit dirty. A little bit dirty. It really could use a valve cover gasket whilst we're under here, but let's just focus on the task at hand, and then we can do all the other stuff. I want to drop everything if I can on the ground so that it's more difficult. Okay, we are in the thick of it here, friends, because I got her blocked up. Like, that actually is too much. I think it made it turn hard. Come on. I put dowel pins in, so it's actually probably resting on there a little, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll become very obvious here in a second when it has no bolts holding it anymore. It will also become obvious if there's anything that we overlooked. Come on. Come on. I like how it's going to fight us at every turn. All right. That should be a loose goose right there. Okay, that side's good to go. Let's try this side. That side does not seem as excited about the potential of becoming a separate piece. I need to get my little pry bar, try to stick in there and see if I can walk it apart gently. Oh, I see another issue though. Return fuel. I didn't take that off of there. So, oh, awesome. We broke some stuff. Well, that's okay. I mean, we definitely didn't need, you know, that's okay. That looks like garbage. That's apparently plastic anyway, so sure. Yeah, it's gonna go. We just need to get something to help us so I don't jar it. I really want it just gently rolling in two. All right, so what you're gonna wanna do is find the flimsiest thing you can to pry. And look at that. If you do it right, that's all it takes. Come on, baby doll. We're so close. We just gotta come on. Come on. Come on, you're almost free. Come on, be free. Those gotta go out of the way a little bit. I think it's loose, it's just not going evenly forward. That's fine. Come on. Come on. Okay. We're gonna get her now. It's apart. It's just not far enough apart to do anything about it. So, yeah, that's we need to roll the front forward without pulling the back. Feels like something's holding it. Just a little bit. There, that one. Oh no! Well, okay. Sure. This is interesting, this procedure that I've created for myself. That works pretty good. Now we can get in here and see the severe mouse house. Why, you ask? Well, because they felt in their infinite wisdom it'd be a good idea to leave 2 open holes to the atmosphere, which are just perfectly mouse-sized. And so, thus, it is full of trash. There we can see our failure, and my bucket decided it would like some failure. But this has got to have a lot of cleanup done to it. How's this feel? Like it should be replaced, and I bet I didn't get that one. Look, friends, I'm even using something else to scrape the mouse house. I'm not going directly. I could take that inspection plate off, but I can't because it's sitting on that right now. So when we get it all back together, we might have to pull that out and get the last little bit of trash out of that. Man, they packed her in there. We're gonna have to go the other side to finish our mouse house scraping. So we need to pull this clutch loose, and then we need to see if we're going to reuse it. He wants to reuse it, and I'm not a fan of that thing, but it ain't my tractor, so if he wants to pay to split it again, I guess that's gonna be, because that's the way it's gonna be. Just being a loader tractor though, you know, I'd be of the mind to not reuse the clutch. But what do I know? I know nothing. Let's see if you can see all that. Let me go grab some appropriate size watch-a-meat, and we'll take this out of here, and then we will see if we got, actually I probably have all that stuff here. I just need to reach over and get it. We're struggling. That's okay. We're used to it. We're used to the struggles, friends. The old struggle bus is running good today. All right. It's probably going to start raining now, which will shut down our progress and then force me to rush around and find some tarp or something to cover this. But oh, that's not the size. Okay, so I just fought for nothing here. That's okay. We're used to it. We're used to a fight for no good. I should have got the impact too. Nope, that's not it. Well, what the heck, friends? Would that be metric? Because this is a Perkins? I would have thought that the clutch was an Allis Chalmers thing. Oh, I know why. Because that's not the right size socket. I got you. So it appears that this stand is holding this tractor with ease, but I'm curious to see how it's going to do with the 301, because that is bound to be much more heavier. If he had that running and that broke, that did make a heck of a sound. Because, yeah. What am I doing now, you ask, other than throwing the tools? Well, see, I kind of like to take these loose a little at a time, instead of taking them all loose except one and then taking it out and having it slingshot backwards, you know, because these are under tension. You see how those fingers came out? That's actually good, because if I'm thinking correctly, as the clutch wears, the fingers come out like this to take up the wear. So really, this clutch should be good because they were all the way in. Now, in practice, is that going to be what we find? I don't know. But I really don't want to put it together if it looks like it needs a clutch. I just wish I had bought a throwout bearing, because it kind of seems like that would be the thing to do. But if the clutch looks okay and whatever, I may just roll with it and put her back together so we're not sitting apart for a long time, because desperation time is here. He needs a tractor over there to be feeding hay, and that WD, we messed with it and he got a fork put on it, but it's not ideal. Ooh, those things have packed that trash all the way in to here. Oh, I don't know. That looks like a lot of material is off of it already. I think it needs a clutch. Tough luck for him. I mean, oh, pilot bearing has come out of the flywheel. So this flywheel has had some questionable life choices, friends. It just has not had a lot of stuff going its way. Fun times. Well, I did get a pilot bearing for the new flywheel, and we do have to get a ring gear put on the new flywheel, which I have because the new one has a crappy ring gear. So we could do that. We could have potentially this half of the tractor ready to put back together. But I see other things along life's way that I really want to address while I'm in here, because it doesn't do any good to halfway do this. You know what I'm saying, friends? I feel like at the very least it should have a throwout bearing. You can hear that's kind of dry-ish, and yeah, this whole thing's going away. So let's pull that off and then see what we'll see what life has in store for us behind door number 2. I have a guess for you, friends. I bet it's sadness, because why wouldn't it be? Are these gonna be an odd duck? Probably, because they probably really are metric-y sizes. I'm not gonna be able to get that with this. Unless, no, I'm not, because normally you'd put something in the teeth to hold back, but I ain't got no teeth. So I'm gonna have to get the impact to get those out. But I would never, ever, ever, don't ever, never put in these bolts with an impact, because you will be sorry. But I need to find a better socket, because I don't really want to go this route. Let's see if I can find a 19 millimeter, even if it's a actually Dad might have a 19 millimeter. If he'd bring a 19 and an 18, we might be set. Let me see what he's got. Well, he won't answer his phone, but I like to live dangerously. Chrome socket. Sure. And nobody died, so is that dangerous? I don't know. Probably not recommended, but let's set these aside so that when it falls on my hand, I don't drop all of them. I bet that's heavy, friends. What's your guess? I mean, it looks ridiculously heavy. So, and of course it's stuck on there. I didn't want to just have it hit the dirt, or actually, more realistically, I didn't want it to hit my plywood and damage it to where I can't roll it back together. So let's lay this 6x6 here in the hopes that it will hit that as it's falling and then gently roll to the ground. Come on. Come on. Not wanting to give it up, huh? Well, you're gonna give it up, whether you like it or not. I have a secret weapon called stupidity. Oh, that worked great. All right, friends, are you still there? We got the flywheel off. Dad called back a day late and $1 short. Take a look at this fine piece of engineering. This is worthy of the wall of failure right here. I have never seen anything like this before in my life. I mean, very, very little penetration. So basically all that did was for looks, and there was only a few spots holding it all this time. And then finally she gave way. And that was all. And here's where you can see where it was missing all the time and grinding, because that tooth isn't as long as everything else. So that was the source of our grinding sometimes. Nonsense, people. Don't do stupid stuff like that. Likewise, let's take a look at the old flywheel here. You can see that it's got pitting in it now in places and whatever. And quite honestly, that flywheel might be fine to use, but I went ahead and bought a different one because I don't want to fool with it. I don't trust the, like welding on a cast flywheel does not sound like a good time to me. You know, those things can fly apart. And if you got a certain spot brittle, that's a good recipe for chunks to start flying out. I'm not saying that it ever will, but it just makes a guy wonder, you know. And then it also makes me wonder whether there's some distorting, or whether the other one spun on there enough that it wouldn't even hold one to begin with, and that's why they came up with this harebrained idea. But I got another one on my porch, and we're gonna put that one in. And I should have, I hope that I have the right rear main seal for this. I ordered it, but I see that it is a 2-piece housing. So I needed to go double check and look up on the parts book again. You can see the ring gear has been eating, and it messed up all those bolts. And I'm wondering if that is, no, those should be through from the other side, so that's okay. That's just the tip. I was trying to make sure that it didn't grind heads off the bolts, but those are actually in the oil pan, so we're good to go on there, other than the fact that those may never ever come off of there. And I'm wondering if I might, before we put this together, go ahead and pull them out, clean them up on the ends or whatever, and put them back in, so that we don't, in case we'd ever have to take, I don't know, maybe it's not even possible to take the oil pan off this motor with it in the tractor. You might still have to take it this far apart, but if it was, those could be a real pain in the Knudsen. So it might be a good time to do it. So we got to do that. We got to get this all cleaned up. We have to order a throwout bearing and a clutch, because I'm not reusing that clutch. There's just no way. But for the rest of this video, I think what we need to do is unbox our stuff and see about putting the new ring gear on the new flywheel. And then we'll have it prepped and ready to go. And then when the clutch gets here, we can just slap this sucker back together. And we also need to make sure about our throwout bearing of sadness, and make sure that that's really gonna do the thing that we want. Or not throwout bearing, The rear main seal is what I'm saying. There was a break in the parts book, and I don't know which one I got here. I don't know if I got the right kind or not. If I don't, and they don't make it, maybe I need to just leave this alone. Because I don't know that it... I don't know. I don't know if it was really leaking much, if at all. I think a lot of what we're seeing here is mouse house combined with clutch filings. And that has made a terrible mess. So, but we got her in too, and our stand seems to be working right now, which is a plus. I wasn't exactly sure whether it would really do the thing, but it looks like it's going to. We just got to get all of our ducks in a row here, friends. We got to get all of our processes done before it's ready to go back together again. So I'm going to set you aside for a minute and play around with this, and then I'll bring you back here in a little bit when we start messing with the new flywheel. That's a good screenshot for a video thumbnail. All right, let's take a look at our treasure here, our replacement flywheel. It looks pretty good. Looks good there, looks good here. The only bad thing is the ring gear ain't exactly very good, you see. And this would be the side that the engine is, and you can see that the teeth are wore off on the corner. But fret not, friends, for they still make that piece new. So I've got a brand new one, and we're gonna swap out the ring gear, and then a little quick wire wheel job on here, and this part should be ready to slap back on the tractor. We need to do that, and then also we need to make sure, somewhere here in my pocket, I've got it. Is that a bearing in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? Well, I have a new pilot bearing here, which is that little feller there, which I notice is also sticking out of this one. So I'm wondering if there's a lip in there, and that's as far as it goes, maybe. This is a Perkins, so some things are strange about it. So what am I doing, you ask? Well, I'm taking this to make sure that that goes on there, because I kind of feel like we need to file on that a little bit to make sure that that really goes on there easy. Otherwise, it will fight us the whole time we try to put it back together and cause us nothing but issues. When we worked in the shop, we started to refile the edges a little bit, and then they usually went right together. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna test it with this, see, before we put it in the thing, you know what I'm saying? So, anywho's, I guess we will first, let's get that old one out, the old bearing. Not that you can really see. Pretty gritty. Let's have a look though. I bet there is I don't know, there is a lip that stops it, but maybe it doesn't really go all the way down. I don't know. As I was so rudely interrupted by the phone, maybe when you pull the tractors apart, they had a tendency to pull the bearing if it was tight. I don't know. But what we're gonna do now is take this and just drive this off of there, because getting it off of there is not the issue. Putting it on is the part where we have to be careful. Let's just put you there for the ride. See, if I had a nice wood block, I could set it on that and just drive it all the way around, but that's okay. I'm working twice as hard for the camera here, so yeah, look at that section. Not very good there. Shearing! You see how much tension it was under? That's because it has to grip this tight. It has to. No question about it. Now I'm going to clean this up super de-duper good. And then I think we might be ready to try to put the new one on. But it's a trick, friends, because we're going to have to... I'm going to have some stuff ready to drop it on there. Heat it up a little bit, the ring gear, and then drop it on here and make her go. So, yeah. I'm going to heat this up. It shouldn't take much. I could probably do it with it right on there, but if I get heat on this, it defeats the purpose. So I'll probably hang it like this, heat it, and then drop it on like such. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Boys, that was a difficult one. I've never had that much trouble getting one to go on there like I just did with this. I hope it holds up. I'm not impressed with like that right there. I don't know what that blemish is. I hope it's not a crack. I don't think it is. But that would suck if it was, because it probably won't hold up that long if it is. Oh. I don't know. Alright, well, that's on there. And in theory, it should be good to go. I noticed a blemish on it, which I am not thrilled about. But I guess if it fails, I gotta do a warranty split. I mean, we're about as good as we can be. We're down the same amount all the way around. Now we just gotta let her cool down and shrink up on there, and we can work on pilot bearing. So what I might do is go ahead and bolt this loosely on the tractor, just so it's hanging up out of the way. And then it's cool already, since it's such a thin area on this huge mass. It sucks the heat out of it. But I think we're good to go. Let's put this on the tractor, and then we'll work on putting the pilot bearing in. Yeah, I don't know if you can see or not, but we're gonna try that. I'm gonna hang the flywheel on here. Maybe. Oh. The question is, are they off center? Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's right. Well, yeah. It does kind of look right. Maybe these don't have a set way to go around. I don't know. Or maybe I hit it right the first time. A lot of tractors have a hole that's way off, so you can only put it on one way. Let's just turn these down for now. But we're going to come back and torque them down, because I'm sure they got a torque spec. I just want this to be sitting in there where it's not going to fall out. All right, that is loosely down. It's tight, but it's not final tight. We need to look up, I need to get my Allis Chalmers book out and look up the torque specs for this. But otherwise, that is gonna work, I think. But I thought it would be easier to deal with this if it was bolted on here. You know, because we need to, well, we'll have to switch for that one. Beautiful clutch dust. So good for you. Healthy, delicious, everything you've ever wanted. I'm gonna clean this out. All right, now we're gonna deal with this bearing situation. Let's give it some of the magician's helper there. Get all of that cruddy off of there. Beautiful. Let that go. This will go here, and its job, if you don't know, would be to carry the load just to help center it of this input jack. It's got to extend in, but you don't want it to be just binding metal on metal. So old tractors had bushings, and this has a bearing, but you see how I can't just slip her on? That's what I'm wanting to address. If I take this bastard here and I just give it a little bit of this around the edge, I think I can get it back into shape where it's gonna just slip fit on there, and that's what I want, because then when you push the tractor together, it'll just slide together beautifully. So that's what I'm gonna work on. I don't know what happened to the handle for this thing. Well, as per usual, the GoPro died, but I made one more little pass around there, and check that out. That's what I want. You can slip it on there. It's tight, but now it won't be a problem when you go together. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard enough without having to fight something like that, you know, while you're trying to get everything else lined up, and then to have to fight the shaft that only wants to go in a certain way. So I don't know, that might be right or wrong thing to do, but they get a little bit of rust built up on them, and if you just shine them up a little bit, all is right with the world again. So we can put that bearing in the flywheel, and then if I look up the torque specs for that, get that torque down, and then that's done. And then all we're waiting on then is a clutch. Turns out I didn't have the right style seal for the back of the crankshaft, but I'm not going to touch it because it doesn't look like it was leaking at all. You know, if it was, it wasn't hardly noticeable. All this black nastiness is from clutch dust. So and the reason I'm not going to mess with that seal is because it's like the rope type seal where you got to split that and go around that. That could be, I could make it worse than it is now. That's what I'm saying. But what I'm waiting on then is this clutch. I just don't feel that I want to reuse it because it's starting to get pretty rickety on certain places. There's kind of a lot of meat left in a way, but you can definitely see how much has been worn away, and I can feel a noticeable lip. And then the corners, I don't know. I'm just afraid that I'm going to start losing layers rapidly there. Like it looks like it's about ready to peel off chunks of material. And I'd rather not go that route and have to do it a second time. So, especially since this is a loader tractor, that side's even worse. You probably can't see that on camera, but it has a noticeable step to it. And I just feel like the lining is about to majorly chuck off of there. So, and there it's kind of into the rivets, starting to. So I think that's toast. So while we're in here, we're going to do that. They weren't there today, so tomorrow hopefully they can order it for me, and maybe it'll be here by the weekend and we can wrap this up. Because once we have the clutch, put that on, we can roll her together, and it'll come with the kit. Will come with a new one of these, which we need because that one is desperately dry and nasty. It's actually smoothed out a little since it got some brake clean in it, but it's pretty bad. You can just feel it. It's got a lot of slop in it in different, I don't know, you probably can't see that either on camera, but it moves quite a bit, and I don't like that. So whilst we're in here, we're going to do it right, and we'll get him a clutch, and we'll put that in there. And then, like I said, then it's going to all just be going back together and then fixing little things along the way, you know. I'd like to put a valve cover gasket on it, so I might go ahead and order that. And then we need to deal with this line that's broke off for that starting aid thing, because basically this is just going to let dirty air into the engine, so we need to plug that off or reattach it or something. We'll decide what to do with that later. But essentially, other than torquing, I'm going to put this in a minute, and that won't be nothing to watch. I mean, that's just the matter of driving it in. I don't have the hammer handy, I guess, but anyway, we'll get that done. All we got to do is torque it down, and then we're ready to go. So I will bring you back another time when we have more parts. So until then, we are going to call this one here. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. And that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.